it's a really good example of this. Is only recently we've had a client, and I won't use a particular suburb or agency at this stage, but they have been in touch with them for many years, and they said, Chris, I still just don't want to do auctions. No one in this area is doing it. Right. I said, okay, I'm going to come and catch up with you. We're going to have a chat about what we should say to a vendor to get them on the market for an auction. And we're going to step by step go through this. Long story short, this agent has got a stack of units in this area. So all of a sudden he puts a property on the market, it's now just going to the top of the list. And that's all, they're just sitting there by price and price and price. So days on market's blowing up. The amount of stock he's got is just out of control. I said, let's do something different. We're now doing auctions. And he's setting a benchmark for everyone in the area. Why shouldn't you do auctions? There's no real reason why we should. It doesn't matter which location, which area. Buyers don't want to buy through auction process. Well, they're going to buy as long as they're emotionally attached to the property and they're interested in that property. It doesn't mean that they're not going to turn up and want to buy it. It really is knowing the skill set of an auction process, knowing how to do the auction prior to and sell the property prior to, or sell it on the day and let the agent and the auctioneer just work the crowd. Maximize your price.
Well, I think the funny thing is too, though, is I see it with a lot of agents that I've worked with our business. And auction does come up a lot, or the social comes up a lot, and it's it doesn't work here, or this, that, and the other. And it's like, number one, if you haven't done it, how do you know? And number two, from what I found, is buyers actually don't mind the auction process because they've done it before. Most of the time, if they're a first-time buyer, they're going to be nervous whether they're buying it at auction or they're buying it private treaty anyway. But after they've gone through a couple of auctions, they understand it, and from what I've found is they like to see their competition. They like to know where they're at.
Transparency.
Very transparent.
Transparent at the best of times. We only had a property over 4:30 2 weeks ago in the Hills District. So the buyer, it was on a Sunday as well, and the vendor was a little bit nervous. The buyers were more nervous because a lot of them were first-home buyers. And it was low one in the price guide. And it's just so nice to see that the first home buyer bought the property, never really been to an auction before. I had a chat with them both after it, fiance, male, female, and it was incredible. They were crying, it was in tears of joy. It was like, God, Chris, thank you for assisting with us and having a chat. As me as an auctioneer, I turn up, I could see people are nervous. I'll talk to the buyers, introduce myself. Hey guys, I'm Chris, the auctioneer today. Have you bought an auction before? No, I'm first, I'm nervous. Okay, can I give you some advice? And have that conversation with them. We're all human. We're all going to be interacting. Yes, I'm going to put a show on and make it look like we've got registered buyers and all the rest of the stuff and put a bit of pressure on people. That's what I'm paid for. But it's also to make these buyers feel at ease and through the process. And now the experience that they've had, it was great. You could see the tears of joy as if they're not going to want to buy them. Hopefully through me.
Well, definitely. For an agent that has, let's say, put you in for a 4-week campaign, Sydney at the moment, everything's selling within a week. What happens there? Because I've seen it with a couple of our guys. We can't even get their ads up and running in time because it can take us up to 48, 72 hours to get ticking and get it going. And they're selling. So then the next phone call is, don't worry about it. It's sold. It's like, all right, cool. There's some sold campaign then. What happens if someone's booked an auction for 4 weeks' time, they have 10 contract requests out on the Saturday, and all of a sudden they've got people throwing offers at them? What happens? Is that something where they try and sell it pre-market, or do they bring the auction forward? Because you mentioned that you're doing 2 or 3 auction campaigns. How does that work?
And
is that new?
There's a couple of options. So 2-3 weeks is really new at the moment, only because we're experiencing such a great market out there. I believe we'll start probably seeing that change to go back to 3 and 4 weeks rather than 2 weeks. But if we're doing, some agents do pre-market inspection. So if they do a pre-market and they find that it's been done really well for 1 weekend, they'll do a 2-week campaign and sell the property at auction. But if we do a first open house and we get a really good response, there's a couple of options. You can either just keep pushing forward for that auction date, or alternatively bring it forward. But there's a couple of risks with either or. There's pros and cons for both. A couple of them just quickly is if you're bringing it forward, you've got to make sure you've got the right buyers already. If you don't, you're going to have egg on your face, so to speak. If you turn up 2 weeks later and those buyers are not in a position to buy ready, financials not ready, all the rest, those questions have got to be asked. If you've got 4 or 5 of them that have got everything ready to go and they're really keen on it, absolutely. Alternatively, take it to auction in 4 weeks. The risk of that potentially is holding that buyer for another 3.5 weeks. However, if you've emotionally got them attached, they're still got to do financials. They've got to get contracts checked. They're going to come back with their family.
Yeah.
So you've still got time to be able to do all that. So as a week, rule of thumb, 4-week campaign is best.
Is that including the pre-market?
Well, hopefully not pre-market. Hopefully you're not doing pre-markets again and then sell. It goes back to for sales. Why do that? Put them in a room, make them compete, and potentially get a record price. You've only got to ask Michael Pallier from Sotheby's why he was able to get over $16 million reserve and made headlines all around.
Yeah. Stuart Davis was the
Absolutely. He was. Yeah, absolutely. I'm disappointed I wasn't able to do it. That would have been a record for me.
Would have been,
but in saying that, the owner would have never anticipated that price. The agent never anticipated that price. Why would you have an auction?
So would you then, and I've done this a couple of times when either we had some interest leading up to the auction or it fell over as far as we lost our buyer or they bought something else. And I think that's probably a risk that we do run at the moment if you're going to do a 4-week campaign. And let's be real, everyone's doing their pre-market, then their campaign. I think agents really need that. The pre-market stuff is a part of your strategy. And it's just changed a little bit. But where I was going with that was we've pushed auctions back a week or so. And the spiel always is, we had a couple of people that couldn't get their finance or whatever it was. Truth be told, for one in particular, I'm thinking I didn't have a buy for it.
And we get a lot of those questions. Chris, we haven't got the right buy yet. We want to push it back. There's absolutely no reason why we won't assist any agent wanting to push a property back for a week or 2 weeks. I think if you're going to do it and you're only doing it for a reason to it's like procrastinating and ripping that band-aid off, just rip it off and go for sale private trading. If it hasn't worked and you've pushed it back once already, you've got to be game enough to speak to the owner and say, look, we don't have a buyer, let's put a price on it. Some agents get really scared to tell an owner that. I think just be upfront. We don't have the right buy for you at the time where we are now. We need to cancel the auction. We need to go forward with the price. Buyers will come out of the woodworks.
But it's got nothing to do with whether it's for auction or for sale. You don't have a buyer.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's very true. It's not because it's an auction. It's not because it's a different location where it's not because it's a 450 square metre or an easement going through the back. Nothing along those lines. There's a buyer for every property. Some of them just take a little bit longer than where they would normally not take it here in Sydney as well.
So, Chris, you mentioned, look, there are a lot of auctioneers out there at the moment. And like you mentioned, there's a lot of agents, there's a lot of auctioneers. Everyone's got their own skills, their own strengths.
Sure.
What's yours?
Look, 16 years real estate experience myself, just first and foremost. And I think the great thing about that is I've done from start to finish. So I've been through leasing, I've been through commercial sales, or through development, sold off plans on a golf course on the Central Coast originally. I think having the broad knowledge of what I've got and also my team have got is just second to none. There's a lot of people out there who go, oh, I want to be an agent. Maybe I'll be an auctioneer as well because I can get some extra cash on a Saturday, maybe a Sunday win rooms, whatever the case is. But what we philosophy of what we provide is service. Service is second to none. So from the moment, as we mentioned earlier, we are booked in, they've got access to us, that auctioneer throughout the course of the campaign. Vendor meetings, vendor communication, if you'd like us to do that, we obviously do that. On the day of the auctions, we do all the registrations. We assist with the bidding. We've got an auctioneer who's have an assistant, so they're there to assist as well. So especially for the independent brands who don't want to pay for an assistant on the weekend, we provide that service. And we do all the recording of auctions, and we do the filming, editing, posting. Plus, we've got great connections with media outlets. So you've only got to look in the weekend paper, Sunday telly, and you see at Scerri Auctions a lot of places.
You do.
And
you're in the paper this week?
This week.
Real estate.com.
Real estate.com. And last week we were on the Sunday telly. So we're consistently out there, and for the right auctions and from the agents, not obviously every client's going to get on the paper, but for the right auctions, if we get the information, we know, and knowing this because we're in touch with the agent throughout the course, if we know that we're going to stream or filter, we're on the phones to my contacts, and we're getting them there to be able to do reports and to get some coverage. So I think really it's about having the top-notch auctioneer. It's really going to differentiate themselves.
Well, it's also good though when you get, and look, I get it with REB and a couple of outlets a lot, when something's happening and these outlets come to you because you're the trusted advisor.
Absolutely.
Like you were saying, you've got people out there that do it for a weekend job, and that's fine.
Absolutely.
I mean, I quite happily sell my dining room table. Or something like that through Marketplace or Gumtree or anything like that. But if I'm going to sell my car, I want someone professional. Or if I'm going to sell my house, I want a professional, not someone who just needs a little bit of extra cash.
Sure. And for me and for all my auctioneers, it's not about just getting the result. It's about whatever strategy I want to put in play on the day. It's about how do I maximise and get a better result than what that reserve is. My reserve is my minimum. I don't want to hit that reserve and then sell the property straight away because I've got to get to my next auction.
I've seen that.
I want to get to my reserve. I want to then push and squeeze and get every last dollar, whether it's $500 or whether it's the last $1,000 in their pocket.
Yeah.
I guarantee I get that extra dollar out of that fight that no one else will be able to do, and that's what I love doing. It's making sure that a buyer says to me at the end when they're signing a contract with me, I wouldn't pay a cent more for that. That is what I want to hear. I don't want to hear, oh, well, I would have had an extra 50,000 if you ask me the question.
Okay, so, and hopefully, because we're going to, I'm going to get you to write something to send out to all the guys watching this as well. But coming back to the $20, $50 thing, I watched an auction, I won't say who because I know they will be watching this, very recently. It was around Woolloomooloo and it was going up by $1,000 increments.
Yep.
Now, very painful for an agent, a vendor, auctioneer, and especially when they go into weird little numbers. You're trying to, I don't know how you guys do it. I don't know how you do it, because I've done a couple myself and I'm just sitting there and I'm having to turn to whoever was doing the auction, but where are we at? What is a good strategy for a buyer at auction?
Mix the numbers up. Bid confidently, bid strong, and mix numbers up. Our job, bid confidently and bid encouragingly, and don't wait for someone else to do it. Why I tell people that, whether it's my family or whether it's my friends, you've got to be confident. If you are showing confidence, and every time someone puts a bid in, and then you are going to put a bid in above that person at a different number, and a mixed up number, rather than a 5 or a 10, do a 13 and a half, or maybe a 23, and whatever it may be.
Yeah.
But then that buyer, or the underbidder, is then going to go, even if I pay another 50, this guy is going to keep coming over the top of me.
Yeah.
There was one recently in Gladesville that I did in Western Crescent, 44 Western Crescent, running morning Gladesville. In the property itself, this buyer came in at the last minute. I was about to sell this property for $270,000 over reserve, and we were pushing for every last dollar.
Right.
I went around the room one last time, and this buyer came out of woodworks and said 3.
Yeah, right.
I said 3? Is that 30 or is that 30? Having a bit of fun again. And we got 3,000. The underbidder then kept coming in top, and we went up by another $100,000.
Right.
And the buyer who originally purchased it was the gentleman who came in with the last 3.
Yeah.
I said, mate, that is a great strategy. I love it. You did really well. And he goes, mate, not my first.
So is that another good strategy? So should they be the opening bidder or should they hold back?
It doesn't matter whether the opening bidder, you've got to be the last bidder.
That's right. Yeah.
However, someone's going to open up the bidding. If no one's going to open up the bidding, then the strategy from the auctioneer's got to be in place already. And some people don't want to put a bid in to start. I'll let someone else do it.
Yeah.
But to bid confidently to secure properties, you've got to open the bidding, you've got to bid strong, and you've got to show other buyers that you're not willing to back down. And obviously stick to your budget. Don't go over your budget unless you want to. If you cap out at 1.2 and you start at 900, go hard, mix numbers up, mix the auctioneer up, because auctions for us are about momentum. If you don't have an auctioneer that trains and practices how to pull numbers and add numbers up, then you're going to make sure that you're going to have a really good result, because that auctioneer is then going to stuff the numbers up, it's going to stop, slow down, give everyone time to think about it. Where in the instance, where myself and my high guys, we can add numbers up. We know we train, we practice with the odd numbers. So it's really important that if you want to try and get the property in slow momentum down an auction, mix it up and throw some curlies at it.
Okay. Mate, I think we've covered everything I want to talk to you about today. Obviously, we're going to shoot this out to everyone in our networks. So, I imagine you're more than happy to have a chat. So what should people do if they want to have a chat with you or they want to get in touch with them?
Please reach out. Obviously, through Scerri Auctions, so it's SCERRI Auctions. We're everywhere. We've got all the platforms you needed, social, and obviously on the internet. Or reach out to yourself. We'd love to work alongside you, and I truly do believe that we do provide that better service out there, and we're certainly there to assist you throughout the course of the campaign. We'd love to be able to show you what we do and how we do it differently to a lot of other businesses. There's a lot of content online from myself, obviously, the social media presence. So please jump on there. You can see all my team. We're about to add 2 extra further team members to our exciting auctioneering team, which is great. We're really excited about that moving forward. But also from there, if they do need anything, we're happy to help out. We've got some clients that use us in our presentations for the owners, for the agents. We've got some clients who just literally book us in and don't need anything from us at all. We cater for everyone, whether you do 1 auction a year or whether you do 55 auctions a month. We're open to be able to work alongside you, and we'd love to be able to do that as well.
Cool. Now, last question, I suppose. Where do you cover? what is your area?
Pretty much just New South Wales at this stage. We do have Greater Plains, then that. However, we cover all the way from north of Newcastle right down south as Bega, up to the Blue Mountains, all the way to Metropolitan and all over. So any given day, we're calling auctions 7 days a week in rooms on sites. We've got in room facilities up in Newcastle, Lower North Shore, also in the CBD. But we also, as auctions on Sundays, Saturdays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, whatever day it is. There's no better days for auctions than any given day.
Cool.
It's an easy website.
And guys, I've worked with Chris before. He's been my auctioneer. We have a 100% success rate. So, thanks guys. We'll drop all your details.
Thank you very much. Cheers, guys.